Hello, shorter video this time. This is just going to be a quick run through of the Gran Turismo time trial on the Nürburgring, where we are trying to get less than a 7:42.5. I've managed it by just 0.3 of a second, so this lap really isn't noteworthy in terms of taking away any lessons on how to drive quicker. It's only just a gold, and it took me quite a lot of attempts to get this. This is probably one of the hardest time trials I've done in a long time, because you have to be really on it through all of these corners to stay within 3% of the world record, which is, I think, around 7:29, so, sort of 10, 11 seconds faster than this. So I'm not going to do any fancy editing on this one. I'm just going to roll through the lap, and I will pause it at all of the right points so that we can see what I'm doing. We start by trying to take as much speed down the start straight as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to deliberately get my car ran over onto this curb on the left, and then sweep in and try and come really close to this barrier here, holding third gear. And then my first braking point is where this orange piece of barrier starts. And I can't remember if I did it on this lap or not, but I'm trying to use the full width of the pit lane exit. Well, not the full width of it, but, take quite a bit of the pit lane exit. And yeah, you can see there. So I'm running over this double white line whilst braking in a straight line. And it's just to try and widen out the track a little tiny bit. And then I'm just riding the brake, trail braking into the corner, easing off the brake gradually. And then once I'm on this apex here, you can see that I start to get the throttle on. Tiny bit of a slide, but not too bad. This next corner, so I'm just going to pause in front of the corner. What I'm going to do is try and get the car as far to the left as I can, fighting the understeer in order to do so. It's really hard to get the car parallel to the white line on the left because the corner sort of slopes away from you. But what I'm going to do is just take a little lift and flick the car in and try and contact just the edge of the rumble strip on the right-hand side. So there you go, off the accelerator and then on the power. I'll play the lap at full speed afterwards. Coming into the next section, so I'm braking from as far to the right as I possibly can, and it's impossible to brake in a straight line because the corner sort of tightens. And you can see that on the map at the bottom right there as well. The corner tightens to the left. So you do have to trail brake a little bit, but you have to be careful because if you brake too hard, the back end of the car is going to come round on you. So this is a real balancing act. The focus, in my opinion, for lap time here is to get the speed on the exit. And to do that, I mean, that sounds obvious, but to do that, what I'm doing is trying to run the car out to the outside of the track. And get on the power nice and early, rather than going sort of full send. So don't go full send, don't get the car sideways, try and keep the car in a straight line and then get on the power nice and early. So this is what it looks like. So you can see there that I'm getting on the power nice and early here. Didn't get the car sideways there. I did have to lift off around this bit here, so this little left kink, you can see that I'm half throttle. Just didn't feel like the car could stay stable enough to do full throttle. Probably where I'm losing some time compared to the pros. And then I'm just balancing the brakes and accelerator through this next corner. So just run the car over on this piece of rumble strip on the right. And then a dab of brakes. And I actually got a massive snap of oversteer there, so this lap wasn't perfect. Bear in mind it took me 150 attempts to get this lap. So there will be mistakes on the lap, and that was one. There's sort of snap there. But then I'm just rolling the car in here, and what you want to do is get the car settled over on the right-hand side as early as possible. So I've got the car settled where I froze it there, and you can see I'm about to get on full power. Because the car is all the way on the right-hand side now, I can pretty much straight line the exit of the corner, which is what I'm doing here. I'm straight lining it, and then the sort of natural curvature of the track just allows you to flow out. So I'll pause just as we cross the timing line. Oh, there's no timing lines on here. That's great. Okay, well, I was going to call out my sector time, which was 48.2. I think, or was it 47.2? Anyway, This corner's sort of like the bravery test, but if you handle it the right way, it's not so bad. You've got a really distinct braking marker for this one, so you just start braking just ever so slightly before the barrier ends on the left, and if you look at my car positioning, you cannot get further to the left than that, and that's what you want to be doing. Look at that positioning there. That's how you're going to take some speed into the corner. It's a fifth gear corner, and you want to be braking at that barrier on the left and then flick it over onto this rumble strip on the inside. You can use the rumble strip here. It won't unsettle the car, this one. This one's quite a smooth rumble strip. And what I'm doing then is, once I'm through the apex of the corner, I'm still not on full power because there's a second apex here. So you can see now I'm on full power, but a few meters earlier I wasn't. And it was just to make sure that I was going to make that second apex as well. It's a double apex right-hander. I know it's a long lap, but I will replay the video on the second lap as well at full speed. Coming down here, so this is another question of sort of picking your braking and your turning point. So I'm using this 5 kilometer board here as my sort of marker. I want to be braking just slightly before it. And then here, there was a mistake, because really I should have been just slightly to the left. So you should be trying to sort of aim to hug the inside here, but I just missed it. So I had to go down into 5th gear, which risks a bit of oversteer, but that oversteer correction managed to sort of gather the car up there. And now for this corner, so you're braking as soon as you clear the exit curb of the previous corner, and you don't want to be too far to the right. You want to be sort of where I am, I think. So just like a car width to the edge of the track. It'll be really hard to get the car there because of the speed that you've just taken out of that previous corner. But the reason is so that you can get across to this inside apex. And you can see here that this wasn't perfect, but I'm starting to pick up the throttle sort of 3/4 of the way around the corner. The earlier you can pick up the throttle there, the more speed you're going to take down this relatively long flat out section down here until we get to the next braking zone. So it's flat out down here. Another bravery test coming up. So I like to brake quite early for this. So you can see my braking reference point is this barrier on the left, and I'm actually braking before it just to be really, really careful. You could also use the sign on the right there. I've seen people braking like where the trees are over there, but it's just not possible, I don't think. So yeah, I just brake. And here, I don't recommend doing what I've done here, which is to touch the rumble strip, because it's going to sort of spit the car out and you're going to sort of spin. But I was really lucky. I held it. So you can see that bobble that I got there was a lucky bounce. And then you're just trying to keep the car to the inside. I took it too fast, and that compromised my entry to this left-hander. Early 3rd gear to help get on the power, and then just balance the power on the way out. Next corner is the last of the truly scary ones, in my opinion. This is one that takes some getting used to. So what you're doing here is there's another YouTuber, Tijni, who called out the braking point for this quite well. The barrier changes colour due to the shadows. You can see it there on the left of this image. There's a change in colour of the barrier. So that's where I was braking. Thanks for that, Tij. That's a great shout. And get down into 4th gear, because that kicks the back end out. So now you see, look, the back end is kicked out and the car is pointing into the apex quite nicely. And then just feather the throttle until you're sure that you're going to be able to make it out of the corner. Because if you're touching too much of this little rumble strip made out of bricks on the right, you're going to have an accident. So don't get on that. Just keep it on the white lines. And then you're braking at the end of the bricks, basically. So there we are. I turned in slightly too early, but I collected it up. It did mean that I was a bit deep there on the mid-corner. Nice easy corner here, so just stab the brakes, get it in, and get on the exit. I mean, I had to lift slightly on the exit, so I lost maybe a tenth there. Not quite flat through there, just a gentle lift. And then I just sort of scrubbed a bit of speed off, just gently, half braking round there. Here, you're going to witness me get really lucky here. Oh wait, no, it's a different lap. Okay. We'll rewind. I'm only going to do this in one take. It's such a long lap, man. I thought this was the lap where I drifted it round there. I actually had one where I caught the drift. But no, that wasn't this lap then. So here, I mean, it's just fairly simple stuff. So just sort of brake. I'm literally just braking where it tells me to with the flashing red light. I don't really have a braking marker. I'm just sort of doing it by feel. There's a lot of places on the Nürburgring where you don't have braking markers. Also, it's a really annoying track in that regard. But yeah, you're just balancing it on the brakes and then hard braking to get the nose in. Early shift into third there to help get the power down. And really easy braking marker for the next one, actually. So I've just said that there aren't easy ones, but there is on this corner, Marshall post. So just slightly before the Marshall post, what I was actually using was the changing colour of the barrier there, the sort of like little black line on the barrier. So do that, sweep across, and I lost a bit of time here. So this was one of the corners where, I was lucky to keep the lap, because look where I am with track limits here. This is insane. Look at that. That is valid, only just. I'm not sure how. But yeah, thank you, Gran Turismo, for helping me keep the lap, letting me keep the lap. But you can see that I had to lose quite a lot of exit speed in order to stay on the track there. But yeah, managed to keep the lap somehow. And here, it's just a dab, just get it into that inside camber. I've seen people go the outside way around that corner. I couldn't get it to work. And then my least favourite corner of the track, this is where I'm losing tons of time through here because I really haven't got the hang of this one. So just ignore my feedback through here. I mean, I'm basically chasing that late apex. You can see where I froze it here. It's a late apex corner. I am too early, I think. I'm just turning in too early, but it's really hard to judge where to turn in here. And that's going to sort of compromise how early I can get on the throttle there. And then that'll compromise my speed all the way down this very long, flat out section. I shouldn't call them straights because they're not really. Just keeping the car to the inside though. Why not keep the track nice and short, keep it to the inside. I'm not keeping it all the way to the inside on this one, just to be sure that I'm going to get around. And just to stop the tyres from scrubbing. And the same here, I'm just sort of keeping it slightly towards the middle, but then cutting across. Now, final bravery test. Nice easy braking marker is where the bricks start on the right hand side of the track, the rumble strip. So you can see, actually, I chickened out a little bit here. I broke a little bit too hard and lost a bit of apex speed. So I could have maybe have taken that slightly faster, because you see how much room I've got on the outside here. Loads more grip. This is almost flat, just a tiny little lift as I go over the crest, and then braking where this rumble strip starts. Nice easy braking zone. You can see I overcooked it slightly, so I'm wide of the apex, but I short shift into third so that I can keep the momentum, keep the power down. Nice easy braking point for this one. Some people say use the tree on the left. I don't like that. The way I brake is, you can see that the rumble strip comes in slightly towards the left. So on the left-hand side of the on the right-hand side of the track, you can see the rumble strip here comes towards you, and as I make contact with it, that's basically where I brake. So you can see braking now, get the car into the bowl, hook the bowl, and short shift to get the gear shift out of the way, because this car shifts gears quite slowly. So you want to get that gear shift out of the way. And this is almost flat. So I just made a tiny lift, and then I'm braking where the rumble strip starts again. Just get it down into fourth, roll it through the corner, just a slight lift to get it through the second part, braking down to third, and let it roll around on the power as soon as I can. And this is all about controlling the back end of the car down here, so just ease off gently, ease off gently. The back end was really sliding then, and again I've got to counter steer there as well. Braking at the end of the rumble strip, flick it across in 4th gear. Now braking down to 3rd gear, and my braking reference point is just a couple of car lengths before this Yokohama board. And I deliberately missed the first apex to try and hit the second one, which is this bit here that I'm heading towards now. And then braking at the end of this rumble strip, I turned across too early and ended up taking too much curb. You can see the slide that I got on there. Nice late apex here, and on the power as soon as I feel like it's going to get around. I've got another snap there. And then again a late apex, and I've never managed to hit the inside of that one, to be honest. I don't think you can. So flat out down here, and I brake just as soon as I hit the bottom of the bump. Keep it to the inside. In fact, it was slightly before that, it was during the bump. This is all just about being gentle, so again a slight lift there, just the tiniest little lift. And I'm going to make a tiny little lift here as well, just halfway into the corner because I felt the car understeering. Nice braking zone here to spot is the path on the right, so you can see, well actually I was braking slightly early because this was a good lap, so I didn't want to screw it up, so I actually broke slightly early. And this was a bit scrappy because then I turned across a bit too early and lost a bit of sort of mid-corner speed. Braking where the rumble strip ends, come across. And then here I'm sort of braking, it's sort of just before this rumble strip starts on the left. So I sort of, I don't know, I do it by feel. So it's just sort of like a couple of car lengths before that. I've actually paused the video too late there. But anyway, you want to get your car on the inside of that. Just be prepared for it to bobble as you exit. And then here, I just damped the brakes, and yeah, it wasn't perfect. And I was just being really steady around here, keeping the car to the inside to get on the power as soon as I could. It turns out in my 100-odd attempts to do this and get gold, that was where I was losing the most time. And it makes sense. So if you're trying to get the gold on this, you'll be losing most of your time at the end of the lap because that's the part of the lap that you can't practice as easily. But practice and practice and practice at the start of the lap and get a nice healthy lead, get some good sector times, and then you can take it easy. We've obviously got this nice long straight. Like my video if you think this is helpful. Feel free to comment with any of your own suggestions, and subscribe is always welcome. Right, anyway, going into the last bit, I was absolutely bricking it at this point. I was so nervous. So I basically braked in reaction to the flashing braking light on the heads up. I hate driving like that. I think it's not good practice, but that's what I did. And then doing the heavy braking as I come in. I'm trying to sort of get as close to this barrier as I can without hitting it. Go down the gears and take as much of this strip as I can. And then I jinked the car to the left, slightly missed the apex there, but managed to keep the speed going. And there we go, across the line. That is enough for the gold. Only just, only 3/10 inside it. I'll now play the lap again, and this time I'll do it full speed, and we will do it from the chase cam. So starting the lap, as I said, widen that out and try and start the lap with as much speed as I can. Braking where this changing barrier colour is here. And it's all about getting on the accelerator as early as you can out of that corner, because you carry a lot of speed down this section. Just lifting off, and then full throttle as soon as I can through that corner. In fact, I do apologise, I'm just going to put the info on. I didn't realise it was off. As I say, I don't have time to really do fancy editing on this video because it's quite a long lap and it's also quite late to help anyone, and it's also not a particularly good example of a gold lap. But I'm hoping that there's elements of this that help you go from silver to gold. Maybe there were some mistakes people are making or certain corners that you find difficult. For example, the one coming up. So as you can see, brake at that little changing colour and then straight across onto the two apexes. So you're aiming to sort of keep above 115, I think, through there. That's sort of what I was trying to aim for. I think the pro players can carry a couple of mile an hour extra. You can see me fight the car there. So really important to get on the accelerator as early as possible coming out of there. Now braking just in front of that white board. I mean, it all goes past so quickly, it's hard to shout it out in real time. You can see where I sort of got out of shape there, so lost a bit of time sort of getting back onto the racing line almost. And then, very important to flick it down into fourth gear there. You want that rotation. You can see I got a bobble of oversteer on there, which sort of threw me out wide. And you can see here that I got a bit of understeer as well on the exit, just there. So it was a bit messy, lost a tiny bit of time there as well. This is a corner that I'm not very confident with, and it feels like my car understeers more than everyone else's through there. And then here, just being careful with that rear end being a pendulum, just sort of feeding in gently, short shifting into third. Down here is where I thank the Gran Turismo gods for not invalidating the lap. So what you'll see here is that I just carried too much apex speed. My braking point was right, it's just that I was too ambitious and got too much understeer. And then the next corner up here is another one where to be honest, I'm pretty clueless. This is where I'm basically just turning in too early, I think. Let's see if we can spot it. Yes, way too early. It doesn't look too bad when you play it at full speed, but you realise that, you know, if you lose 2 miles an hour down here, you lose 2 miles an hour all the way down to the next braking point, which is like in miles, 1 mile time, in a mile's distance, let's say. But when you're going down this section, just have a reset mentally, ignore where you are for your ghost. Just focus on this corner, just think about what you're going to do. Have a strategy of how hard you're going to push when you get these moments, these breathers. Know where the strengths and weaknesses are on your fastest lap that you've done so far, and aim to match your best lap each time, but remove a weakness from each lap that you do. That's how I've got my time down. It's just, I knew that I threw away time on the end of my lap, so I just had to keep up with my ghost all the way through to the end of the lap, and then beat it where I made the mistakes. This corner isn't as nasty as it looks, it's almost flat. And then just rolling the car in here. Just again rolling round, getting on the power nice and early, nice and smooth. This is where the pendulum effect comes in because you're going downhill. You just got to be really careful down here. You can see that I got a slide on there and just about held it. I got a slide on there and just about held it as well. Got a massive slide there. That lost me about a tenth. But then this was quite clean. Oh, but then I say that, I got a slide there. I forgot I got a kick of oversteer on the exit. Just got to be so careful with this car. And now I'm just thinking at this stage about where I'm going to brake for this one, which is just as we go down the dip. Keep it to the inside and be patient to get on the accelerator. I do lift slightly through there. I think it's because I just turned in slightly too early through that, so I just had to lift slightly. And here I had to lift because I sort of felt the car bouncing around a little bit through there. I broke a bit too early here, and also a bit too hard as well. So maybe lost 5 miles an hour between the two apexes there. But I was racing my Ghost and I was just trying to set a time. I wasn't trying to set a world record or anything like that. I just wanted to get the gold. That's what this is about. That's what this video is about. Just a dab of brakes on the way in there. And then just be cautious here, because you'll destroy your time if you're just a tenth of a second late on the accelerator through there. You want to be on the accelerator as soon as. And then, yeah, this is the point where I start cracking the jokes about liking and subscribing, obviously. I will go back to my normal video format after this one. I've already smashed out the gold at the next time trial at Suba. It's a hell of a lot shorter than this. It's like a 1 minute lap. So, yeah, much easier. But yeah, I've just been very busy with real life and stuff. Thanks for everyone who's watching the videos. You can just see now, I'm just bringing it home at this stage, not taking any crazy risks, just trying to be neat and tidy. And across the line, we're going to go 142.198. So that is the gold. Let's see if it stays or if someone goes even faster. I really hope they don't. But thanks for joining me with the video, and we'll be back to the usual schedule in a week or so's time. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.